The 11 terrifying discoveries, recently made by scientists in the desert that could rewrite history. Amid the barren desert, where only scorching heat and endless golden sands seem to exist, scientists have uncovered secrets buried for thousands of years. Discoveries that have not only stunned the archaeological world, but also forced humanity to reconsider history from an entirely new perspective. You won't believe what has been unearthed from the depths of the blazing sands, from giant human skeletons found in the deserts of Kazakhstan to an ancient city buried beneath the sands of Saudi Arabia, once described in ancient religious texts as the Atlantis of the desert. But that's just the beginning. Strange carvings, tools far more advanced than their time, and even traces of unknown creatures have been found across South America, the Middle East, and North Africa, raising a profound question. Do we really understand our own past? Why did these ancient civilizations disappear so abruptly? And who or what left behind these traces in such desolate, uninhabited places? Join us as we explore the 11 most shocking discoveries ever made in deserts in recent times. Evidence that could compel humanity to rewrite history and confront a staggering truth. The past we've believed in might just be the visible tip of a deeply mysterious iceberg. So, what exactly are these mysterious discoveries? Let's dive into the video now. Plane wreckage in the Libyan desert. In the world of mysterious and tragic wartime tales, one disappearance continues to send chills down the spine to this day. The ill-fated flight of the B-24D bomber named Lady Be Good. This story is not only a sorrowful chapter of World War II, but also a powerful testament to human will in the face of hopelessness. Equipped with advanced technology for its time, the Lady Be Good carried a crew of 9 young, enthusiastic servicemen. The aircraft vanished without a trace on its very first combat mission on April 4, 1943. Its objective was a bombing raid over Italy, but Lady Be Good became the only plane in its squadron that failed to return to its base in Libya. Amid the chaos and panic of war, it was believed that the bomber had crashed into the Mediterranean Sea. And so, the story faded into silence for 15 long years. No one could have imagined that the truth lay buried deep within the barren Libyan desert, hundreds of miles from the original flight path. In 1958, an oil exploration crew accidentally captured an aerial photograph that revealed the wreckage of the Lady Be Good, lying solitary in the vast expanse of sand. Despite the violent crash, the remains of the aircraft were remarkably well preserved thanks to the desert's dry, hot climate. What was even more chilling, the radio and several other instruments were still in working condition, as if the plane had landed only recently. Yet, no trace of the crew was found. A year later, in 1959, the Libyan authorities and rescue teams launched a massive search in hopes of uncovering the truth hidden beneath the unforgiving sands. After weeks of fruitless efforts, the mission was called off, leaving behind a haunting mystery. But fate had not finished with this tale. In 1960, 17 years after the disappearance, the remains of 8 of the 9 crew members were finally discovered. They were found scattered along a clear path, suggesting that they had walked as far as they could until their final breaths. Among the personal artifacts, the co-pilot Robert Toner's journal opened a window into their harrowing final days. Buried beneath layers of sand, Toner's quiet words told a solemn story. After the aircraft malfunctioned and could no longer be controlled, the crew bailed out. 8 of the 9 survived the jump. What they didn't know was that instead of falling near the Mediterranean, they had actually landed deep in the Libyan desert. With no food and only a few bottles of water, they began an agonizing survival trek through the scorching sands. They walked continuously for approximately 85 miles under the blistering sun and relentless sandstorms. When 5 of the men could no longer go on, the remaining 3 continued, driven by a desperate hope that salvation lay ahead. Ultimately, they too perished in solitude. Tragically, the body of the gunner, Vernon L. Moore, has never been found. It's as if the desert chose to keep part of its mystery for itself. Lady Be Good is more than just a downed aircraft. It is a symbol of lives consumed by war, a tale of courage and despair, of faint hope in a place where life should not exist. And if you ever hear the wind howling across the towering dunes of Libya, remember that it once carried the echoes of a story time cannot erase, a tale of human resilience in the darkest of circumstances. 2. 7,000-year-old mummies. reveal the ancient secrets of the world's largest desert. Nearly a century ago, Hungarian explorer Laszlo Almasi undertook a daring journey across the blistering Sahara Desert. He never imagined he would stumble upon a discovery so strange it could redefine the region's climate history. Rock paintings depicting swimmers, calmly floating in what is now Earth's hottest landscape. While some believe the figures represented spiritual beings, Almasi argued they were real humans, swimming and living in what he believed was once a lush, water-rich Sahara. Now, nearly 100 years later, scientists have once again shocked the world, this time by successfully decoding the DNA of two naturally mummified individuals dating back 7,000 years, discovered in Takarkori, a remote area in southern Libya. These findings not only support Almasi's bold hypothesis, but also open a gateway to understanding a civilization that once thrived in a Sahara teeming with life. Published in the prestigious journal Nature, the analysis revealed the two mummies belonged to a previously unknown lineage, an ancient people who lived in isolation during a time when the Sahara was not a wasteland but a paradise of greenery, rivers, and wildlife. The modern image of the Sahara as a symbol of dryness and survival hardship belies its ancient past. Around 14,000 years ago, as the Ice Age ended, a prolonged monsoon cycle transformed the region into a fertile land. Lush grasslands, crystal-clear lakes, and dense forests covered areas now blanketed by endless dunes. This thriving ecosystem attracted animals like hippos, elephants, and giraffes, as well as some of the earliest human settlers who survived by hunting and gathering. Amid this vibrant natural setting, the ancient rock art of the Tadrart Akakis Mountains was created, a vivid collection depicting daily life along rivers, hunting scenes, animals, and spiritual rituals. These illustrations not only prove human presence in a green Sahara, but serve as a visual portal to a dramatically different era. Takarkori, where the mummies were unearthed, was once part of this green Sahara. In a rock shelter, archaeologists found not only human remains, but also woven baskets made from swamp grasses, clear evidence of a moist, fertile environment. But what truly stunned scientists was the DNA analysis. These two ancient women had no close genetic ties to any current sub-Saharan African populations. Instead, they carried one of the oldest known genetic lineages, separate from the major waves of human migration out of Africa over 50,000 years ago. They belonged to a unique human branch, unlike any modern group. Their genome showed only faint links to people from Tafaralt, Morocco, dating back 15,000 years, and they possessed 10 times less Neanderthal DNA than modern non-Africans, yet more than present-day sub-Saharan populations. This suggests they were a blend of very ancient populations, possibly including Neanderthals, originating from North Africa, a region still full of genetic mysteries. About 5,000 years ago, a major shift occurred. A change in Earth's axial tilt weakened the monsoons, leading to the Sahara's desiccation. The once fertile land dried up, transforming into the desert we know today. The Takarkori people were either forced to migrate or disappeared altogether, possibly contributing to the rise of later civilizations like ancient Egypt. But the Takarkori lineage seems to have vanished, leaving no clear descendants, only faint traces in the DNA of some modern North African groups. Their lives, their art, and their legacy, buried beneath layers of sand and time, are now being unearthed not only with shovels and trowels, but through the language of genes, a whisper from our ancestors about a forgotten chapter of Earth's history, when the Sahara was once a green paradise. The mysterious metal monolith in the Utah desert. In the arid and desolate Utah desert, a landscape of red rocks, dust, and millennia-old silence, a strange mystery emerged, captivating the world. On November 18, 2020, while conducting an aerial survey of wild bighorn sheep, local officials spotted an enigmatic metal object standing alone in the wilderness. It wasn't a rock or debris from some machine. It was a three-sided stainless steel monolith, approximately 11 feet tall, gleaming silver and rising from the desert floor as if placed there from outer space. This peculiar structure bore no identifying marks, no inscriptions, no symbols, and no nearby structures or devices to hint at its purpose. It simply existed in a place rarely visited by humans, sparking a global frenzy on social media and leaving researchers grappling with questions. Who brought it here? Why place it in such a remote location? How could such a heavy object be installed without detection? Before answers could surface, an even stranger event unfolded. On the night of November 27th, the monolith vanished without a trace. No witnesses, no cameras, no explanation. The Utah Bureau of Land Management confirmed its removal that evening, but stated they had no involvement and considered it private property beyond their jurisdiction. This deepened the mystery, fueling public speculation and unease. As the enigma of its appearance remained unsolved, its sudden disappearance added another layer of intrigue. Experts analyzed the situation, noting that transporting a metal structure over 11 feet tall into the desert would require specialized equipment, manpower, and significant effort. Yet no one saw anything, no one was recorded, and no one claimed responsibility. Some suggested it might be an unauthorized art installation, akin to interventionist art seen in other remote locations. But if it was art, what was the artist's intent? Why choose the desolate Utah desert? And why remove it so swiftly without anyone claiming credit? A bolder, more controversial theory emerged, linking the monolith to extraterrestrial activity. Believers argued it could be a cosmic antenna, a test signal, or a marker of alien presence, pointing to advanced technology capable of such a feat, much like countless UFO reports. Scientists dismissed this as speculative, but with no official explanation, all possibilities remained on the table. Nearly 5 years later, the Utah monolith's origin remains unconfirmed. No one has taken responsibility, no clear clues have emerged, and no one can fully explain how such an object appeared and vanished in modern America. All that remains are images, posts, and videos circulating online, alongside an indescribable sense of mystery. In an era where everything is recorded and analyzed, this event reminds us that Earth still holds secrets beyond our grasp. Whether an art piece, a prank, or evidence of another civilization, the Utah monolith remains one of the most captivating real-life mysteries. The 4,000-year-old mummies of the Taklamakan Desert. In the vast, harsh sands of the Taklamakan Desert, one of the planet's driest and most unforgiving landscapes, an ancient secret nearly remained buried forever. In 1939, during a survey in the Shaohei region, a team led by Swiss archaeologist Bergmann Folke uncovered a series of peculiar tombs. Yet this discovery was forgotten for over 60 years, as if the desert itself had swallowed the story. It wasn't until 2000, when the Xinjiang Institute of Cultural Relics and Archaeology resumed excavations, that the mystery resurfaced. After 5 years of grueling work under the scorching sun, a stunning revelation emerged, astonishing the scientific community. Spanning an unprecedented area, the Shaohei Cemetery revealed 330 tombs, layered across generations, containing 15 remarkably preserved mummies. Each was placed in boat-shaped wooden coffins, faces down, as part of an apparent sacred ritual. What stunned archaeologists wasn't just the mummy's 4,000-year-old preservation, but the meticulous wrapping in wool and cowhide, so precise that not a single grain of sand penetrated. The desert's extreme dryness and cold acted as a natural freezer, preserving hair, clothing, and even facial expressions with eerie clarity. The most captivating find was a mummy dubbed the Shaohei Princess. Her delicate features, smooth skin, high nose, long reddish hair, curved eyelashes, and a subtle, alluring smile remained intact after millennia. These traits, strikingly uncharacteristic of ancient Chinese populations, prompted questions about her identity and origins. Modern reconstruction technology revealed her near-complete face, leading experts to wonder, who was she? Where did she come from? Why was a woman with European-like features in this remote region? DNA tests provided partial answers, revealing that she and other mummies carried mixed Eastern and Western genetic markers, with one male mummy showing traces from Eastern Europe. Yet no traces of settlements, structures, or paths suggested a lasting community presence, as if these people appeared and vanished without a trace. Intriguing theories emerged. One suggests the princess and her group may have traveled thousands of miles from southeastern Europe or the Ural Mountains to Central Asia, settling briefly before fading from history. Why choose the deadly Taklamakan as a resting place? How did they survive such a merciless environment? What caused their disappearance? The princess's attire, a pointed white hat, high fur-lined boots, and intricately sewn garments bore cultural markers that remain unlinked to any known civilization, making her a cultural enigma and a key to an undocumented era. Over 4,000 years later, the Xiaohe princess's story remains unresolved. Was she a diplomat, a traveler, a religious figure, or a victim of forced migration? The sands of Taklamakan may have buried much, but they also preserved a timeless tale, a princess whose beauty whispers secrets from a distant past. The Ghost Sea in the Sahara Desert. In the heart of the Sahara Desert, one of the harshest and driest places on Earth, known as the Sea of Deadly Sand, with dunes rising hundreds of feet and heat that can incinerate any living thing, it's hard to imagine that thousands of years ago, this was a vast world of water, larger than the Caspian Sea in Central Asia. Thanks to special satellite imagery from NASA, scientists made a stunning discovery. What is now a desolate desert was once the bed of an ancient lake spanning nearly 150,000 square miles, an area large enough to cover Germany or nearly match the size of California. Researchers named this majestic remnant Lake Mega Chad. From the ground, you'd see only endless sand and barren rock, with no hint of water or vibrant life. But from space, satellite imagery reveals intricate terrain patterns and subtle geological shifts that outline a long-lost inland ocean. This wasn't just a lake, it was a watery world covering what is now Central Sahara, including the Baudelaire Depression, once submerged under Lake Megachad during a wetter era in North Africa. Geological and sediment analyses suggest Lake Megachad formed at least 7,000 years ago during the Green Sahara period, when the region was lush, rainy, crisscrossed with rivers, and home to early human communities. However, around 5,000 years ago, global climate change triggered increasing aridity. Rainfall dwindled, rivers dried up, and Lake Megachad, once a vast freshwater ocean, gradually shrank and nearly vanished, leaving behind the expansive desert we know today. The modern Lake Chad is a mere shadow of its former glory, a faint remnant of the colossal lake that once dominated the region. This realization is chilling. Just a few millennia ago, a place where humans now struggle to survive was an ecological paradise, supporting agriculture, herding, and permanent settlements. The story of Mega Chad doesn't end with its dried-up past. The Baudelaire Depression, once the lake's core, is now one of the world's largest sources of atmospheric dust. Remarkably, this dust from a dead land carries vital nutrients, particularly phosphorus, essential for plant growth. Swept by strong winds across the Atlantic, Baudelaire's dust reaches the Amazon rainforest in South America, acting as a natural fertilizer for one of Earth's richest ecosystems. This connection transforms Lake Megachad into a symbol of global ecological interdependence. From the barren Sahara, millions of tons of fine dust travel across continents and oceans to nourish sprawling forests on another hemisphere, a phenomenon unimaginable to the naked eye. Though vanished from sight, Lake Megachad continues to influence the global ecosystem, silently playing a vital role in Earth's ecological chain. The rise and fall of Lake Megachad is not just a geological tale, but a powerful reminder of nature's might and the fragility of ecosystems. The climate shifts that erased Africa's largest freshwater ocean could, if unchecked, destroy other wonders in the future. The dust-laden winds of the Sahara carry traces of a lost world and a warning about the delicate balance of our planet. Do you agree? If not, share your thoughts in the comments below and let's discuss. The 1,500-year-old Buddhist ruins. In May 2012, a team of archaeologists touched the past when they uncovered the remains of an ancient Buddhist temple buried deep in the scorching sands of the Taklamakan Desert. What stunned the world wasn't just the 1,500-year age of this site, but what it revealed: a cultural treasure trove testifying to the remarkable intersection of Eastern and Western civilizations. Initially, the temple was almost entirely buried under thick desert sand. Yet beneath lay over 3,000 precious artifacts, most notably breathtaking murals unlike any found in the region. These artworks bore the distinct style of Greco-Buddhist art, a rare fusion unseen after the 6th century. In this remote, seemingly isolated desert, evidence of a transcontinental cultural encounter emerged, tracing Buddhism's journey from India across vast lands to ancient China via trade caravans. Lead archaeologist Wu Xinhua expressed awe. "This site is truly unique. We've never seen murals like these in this field. It's clear evidence of two cultures merging as Buddhism spread into China." Indeed, this discovery fills a missing piece in the history of Buddhism's evolution, a major religion that traveled thousands of miles and centuries to shape a civilization's spiritual identity. The excavation, completed in June 2012, dated the temple to China's northern and southern dynasties period, 5th to 6th centuries CE, a time of upheaval and cultural exchange when China expanded trade through the legendary Silk Road connecting Asia and Europe. The temple's significance lies not only in its age or the artistry of its murals, but also in its astonishing architecture. The largest chamber uncovered was an unprecedented, awe-inspiring space unlike anything found in Taklamakan excavations. A grand sacred hall where ancient devotees once gathered, meditated, and worshipped. This structure not only stunned archaeologists, but opened new avenues of research into how ancient people built monumental religious sites in one of Earth's harshest environments. For historians and archaeologists, this find is a window into the past, revealing Buddhism's early steps into China and raising questions about the profound influence of Western culture, specifically ancient Greece, on Eastern religion. The mythological figures, artistic lines, and color techniques reflect a harmonious blend of multiple civilizations' wisdom. Today, standing in the Taklamakan Desert under blistering sun and stinging sand, it's hard to imagine this was once a cultural hub where monks and artisans wove legends through brushstrokes and faith. Buried for over 1,300 years, this temple speaks again, delivering a message from the past. Every journey, no matter how arduous, leaves a mark when driven by intellect, faith, and the meeting of civilizations. The perforated brick houses. In a world where digital maps and GPS navigation allow you to pinpoint your location with a few taps, it's hard to imagine the fear of being lost in a trackless wilderness, especially in a place as unforgiving as a desert. Yet, in the northern Sinai Peninsula of Egypt, you'll encounter a haunting and peculiar sight: small brick houses scattered across an endless sea of golden sand. At first glance, they might seem like forgotten relics of a lost civilization, but in reality, they are vivid proof of human ingenuity and adaptation to nature, specifically the brilliance of the Bedouin, one of the planet's oldest nomadic communities. These brick houses, though now partially in ruins, still tell a story of a clever and resilient past. They weren't permanent homes, rest stops, or storage depots. According to archaeologists and anthropologists, these modest structures served as desert lighthouses, wayfinding architecture akin to coastal lighthouses that have saved countless ships from stormy seas. The story begins with the unique lifestyle of the Bedouin, nomadic Arab tribes who have roamed vast deserts like those in Jordan, Iraq, Saudi Arabia, Oman, Yemen, and Egypt. Known as people of the desert, the term Bedouin derives from the Arabic Baidu, meaning just that. They have thrived for thousands of years in arid, extreme conditions, scarce water, scorching temperatures, and vast, featureless terrain that makes navigation daunting. To survive, the Bedouin relied not only on endurance and experience, but also on innovative solutions, like building domed brick houses as landmarks. Constructed from local bricks, these rectangular structures with domed roofs, perforated with ventilation holes, stand over 6.5 feet tall, often positioned on slopes or high points for visibility from afar. Remarkably, no two houses are identical. Variations in structure, materials, and hole patterns reflect the distinct identities of different Bedouin groups, each with unique routes and territories, marking their presence with these bespoke desert lighthouses. Why call them lighthouses? Their purpose mirrors that of their maritime counterparts. In an era before detailed maps or GPS, crossing vast deserts was like sailing an endless ocean. A slight miscalculation, a sudden sandstorm, or a subtle terrain shift could lead an entire caravan astray, sometimes fatally. The Bedouin, keenly aware of this, built these structures at strategic, visible points. When needed, a fire lit inside would shine through the domed roof's holes, creating a visual beacon in the dark or during blinding sandstorms. These simple primal flames were life-saving, guiding lost travelers back to their path or helping caravans stay on course across journeys spanning hundreds or even thousands of miles. These structures are more than architecture. They are indigenous technology, blending instinct, environmental knowledge, and natural laws honed over millennia of nomadic life. Though many have crumbled with time, they remain as a testament to humanity's ability to conquer harsh environments with ingenuity and adaptability, long before satellites or digital compasses existed. The Bedouins' desert lighthouses are not just historical relics, but a message from the past. Even in seemingly lifeless places, humans can thrive, not with advanced technology, but with enduring wisdom and a profound connection to nature. Isn't that remarkable? The 7,000-year-old giant, ancient cemetery. In a parched land where rain hasn't fallen for centuries, where scorching days give way to freezing nights, and where life seems impossible, the Atacama Desert, stretching from northern Chile to southern Peru, the driest place on Earth, hides one of humanity's most staggering archaeological discoveries. Vast ancient cemeteries containing thousands of near-perfectly preserved mummies, enduring for over 7,000 years. This is not Egypt or the Inca heartland, but the realm of the Chinchorro, a mysterious culture that pioneered mummification techniques millennia before the ancient Egyptians. Scientists call this the world's oldest mummy cemetery. What's astonishing is that these mummies aren't limited to elites or adults, as in many civilizations, but include men, women, the elderly, the poor, infants, miscarried fetuses, and even domesticated animals. This suggests the Chinchorro culture did not discriminate in death. They honored all, rich or poor, long-lived or short-lived. To them, death wasn't an end, but the start of a sacred journey. Imagine mummies, some sitting, some lying on their side, some bearing faint, eternal smiles, with skin and hair intact after millennia. The Chinchorro's sophisticated mummification, combined with the Atacama's harsh environment, daytime temperatures reaching 122 to 140 degrees, bone-dry air, and sodium-rich soil that rapidly dehydrated bodies, prevented bacterial growth, making nature an unwitting guardian of this civilization for thousands of years. How many bodies were mummified over their 4,000-year practice? Researchers estimate millions, creating a vast archaeological treasure buried beneath our feet. The oldest mummies date back over 7,000 years, the youngest around 3,000, telling the story of a once thriving civilization silenced by time. Remarkably, the Chinchorro's mummification rivaled any ancient culture. They removed organs, used wooden rods to stabilize spines, recreated faces with clay, and painted skin with red iron oxide or black manganese, showcasing an astonishing blend of artistry and science predating Egypt's pyramids. Why were the Chinchorro forgotten? Likely because they left no grand monuments or written records and lived in the isolated, inhospitable Atacama, rarely visited by outsiders. Yet their mummies have rewritten history, proving that the first to mummify were not Egyptians, but South America's Chinchorro. As scientists uncover more from this seemingly lifeless land, questions linger. Did they believe in an afterlife? Was mummification a way to keep loved ones close? By turning the world's driest desert into a repository of memory, the Chinchorro created a place where time stands still, allowing us to glimpse the souls of those who lived millennia ago. The mysterious straight lines of Bolivia's Sajama Desert. Looking down from above the arid western region of Bolivia, amidst the pristine wilderness and the towering presence of Nevado Sajama, the country's highest peak, a network of straight lines emerges, resembling mysterious engravings of time etched into the earth. These are the Sajama lines, one of the lesser-known archaeological enigmas, yet they possess monumental scale and an irresistible allure for researchers, explorers, and enthusiasts of ancient remnants. Spanning an area of over 8,700 square miles, this network is approximately 15 times larger than the famous Nazca lines of neighboring Peru. In terms of total length, the Sajama lines extend up to 9,940 miles, making them potentially the largest artwork in the world, assuming their purpose was to display visual creativity. What perplexes archaeologists and scientists is not just their colossal size, but the unresolved questions. Why were they created? Who made them? And what was their true purpose? These lines do not run independently, but intersect and overlap, forming a network that appears chaotic, yet evokes a sense of organization and clear intent. Unlike the Nazca lines, which depict animals, plants, or artistic symbols, the Sajama lines do not form specific shapes. They are merely long, regular, and remarkably straight streaks, an aspect that raises the question, how could ancient humans, without modern tools, draw kilometer-long lines with such precision without aerial perspective? The answer remains elusive, but numerous hypotheses abound. Some scholars suggest these lines served as pilgrimage routes, as they frequently intersect and connect with shrines, cemeteries, and small ancient villages. Another theory posits that they are pathways leading to water sources, a vital and scarce resource in this arid land. If so, the Sajama lines were not just physical structures, but symbols of faith, life, and survival in the harsh environment of ancient peoples. Technically, creating these lines was surprisingly simple. Ancient people merely scraped away the dark oxidized surface layer to reveal the lighter soil beneath. The contrast between the two layers created a clear effect visible from thousands of feet above. This technique is similar to that used by the Nazca to create their famous drawings in Peru, prompting some scholars to question, could there be a cultural connection between these two civilizations? Perhaps a cultural relationship or even mutual influence between two contemporaneous civilizations living in the vast Andes? According to a study published in 2016, the Karangas, a native group that lived in the southern Andes from 1000 to 1476 AD, were likely the creators of the Sajama lines. This period coincides with the time before the Inca Empire expanded its control over the area. However, while scientists agree on the approximate dating, the exact origin and true purpose of these lines remain a significant mystery, continuing to challenge modern knowledge and spark curiosity. Therefore, the Sajama lines are not just an archaeological heritage, but also a puzzle of time, a grand mystery yet to be fully solved. As the world becomes increasingly interconnected through modern technology, these ancient engravings in the Bolivian desert remind us that there is still much we do not know or understand about human history. Perhaps somewhere beneath the foot of Novato Sajama, within these silent lines, stories await to be told. Stories that only time and the patience of curious minds can fully reveal. The 2,500-year-old skeletons of women sold into slavery. In the heart of Israel's arid and harsh Negev desert, a region seemingly dominated by sun, wind, and sand, an ancient secret was unexpectedly uncovered in 2021, astonishing the international archaeological community. Specifically, during an excavation conducted before the commencement of a water pipeline project, archaeologists discovered a peculiar burial site isolated in the desolate land, with no traces of any past settlements. What made this discovery particularly significant was that it contained dozens of skeletons dating back 2,500 years, most of which are believed to be the remains of women from distant lands, possibly victims of trans-desert human trafficking in ancient times. These graves were found at a highly strategic location, the intersection of two major ancient trade routes that once connected Egypt with Wadi Araba and the Arabian Peninsula. This positioning has raised substantial questions among experts. Could this have been a transit point in the ancient trade network, serving not only as a hub for goods exchange, but also as a transit point for people, especially women, used for ritualistic and religious purposes? Tali Erickson-Genie, an archaeologist with the Israel Antiquities Authority, affirmed, "This is the first time we've discovered such a burial site in this area. Notably, it is entirely separate from any known ancient settlements, indicating that this place held deeper ceremonial significance rather than being a regular habitation site." This isolation further emphasizes the mysterious and sacred nature of the burial site, as if it was chosen for a very specific, sacred yet dark purpose. The remains discovered here are predominantly those of adult women, although further analysis is needed to confirm their exact gender. Among the graves, archaeologists found numerous unusual artifacts, from jewelry made of copper and silver to intricately crafted pottery, cypraea shells from the Red Sea, items commonly used by Egyptian women as amulets to ward off evil. Additionally, incense boxes and alabaster trays, objects related to the trade of frankincense and myrrh, were also found, indicating that this site was once a crucial link in the ancient religious trade network, where material goods and beliefs intertwined into an ethereal entity. However, behind this solemn exterior lies a story that could send chills down anyone's spine. The women buried here were likely victims of human trafficking that persisted for centuries. Preliminary studies suggest they may have come from Gaza or Egypt, transported across the desert to the Arabian Peninsula, where they were possibly forced into roles as brides or prostitutes, serving in superstitious and mystical religious ceremonies. The tale becomes even more grim as archaeologists discovered that many of the skeletons had been displaced from their original positions, possibly to make room for later burials, indicating that this area was reused over an extended period. underscoring its undeniable ritualistic importance in the ancient consciousness. Furthermore, ancient records such as the Minoan inscriptions in Yemen also mention ritual prostitution and the trade of women in the region, further supporting the hypothesis of a dark industry that existed alongside sacred ceremonies at commercial crossroads. All these elements paint a historical picture that is both mysterious and tragic, clearly reflecting a period in the past when the boundaries between faith and power, between belief and human oppression, became more blurred than ever before. It is important to emphasize that these hypotheses are still preliminary research findings, and scientists continue to analyze and cross-reference evidence to fully uncover the story behind the mysterious graves of the Negev desert. However, regardless of the final conclusions, it is evident that this discovery has opened a new chapter in the journey of exploring human history, not only from an archaeological perspective, but also as a reminder of the fate of those who once lived and may have been forgotten in pages of history never written. Ancient drawings on the Peruvian desert. On May 28, 2018, Peru's Ministry of Culture stunned archaeologists and history enthusiasts around the world by announcing a groundbreaking archaeological discovery: 25 massive drawings, known as geoglyphs, etched into the desert floor near the town of Palpa. What made this discovery especially remarkable was not just the images themselves, but how they were found. Unlike earlier discoveries, which were made by chance during walks or through satellite images, these geoglyphs were identified using drones. This marked a clear shift in archaeological practice in the 21st century, where modern technology is increasingly replacing traditional methods in uncovering the mysteries of human history. The new Palpa geoglyphs are not only astonishing in size and intricacy, but also in what they reveal. They were not created by the Nazca civilization, long famous for its mysterious geoglyphs, but by an even older culture, the Paracas. These drawings are estimated to be over 2,000 years old, predating the Nazca geoglyphs by several centuries. This revelation is significant not only for its historical value, but also because it challenges existing assumptions about the cultural and technical sophistication of the Paracas civilization, often overshadowed by the more well-known Nazca. Among the 25 newly discovered figures are entirely novel symbols: a woman depicted with graceful lines, a monkey dancing as if in a sacred ritual, mysterious numerical symbols that evoke mystical codes, and most notably, an image of an orca, considered by the Paracas to be a semi-divine creature. These symbols had never been seen in previous archaeological finds, and their uniqueness has led researchers to reevaluate the scope of Paracas cultural symbolism. Could it be that their belief system was far more complex than previously thought? Might they have developed a method of expressing beliefs and conveying messages that transcended spoken language? Another fascinating aspect of the Palpa drawings is their visibility. Unlike the Nazca lines, which can only be fully appreciated from the air, the Palpa geoglyphs can be seen clearly from the ground. This makes them far more accessible for study and raises an intriguing hypothesis. Perhaps the Paracas didn't require aerial perspectives to create and appreciate their artwork. If so, what was their true purpose? Were these images part of religious ceremonies, a form of divine communication, or simply a demonstration of power and knowledge within a highly developed society? According to archaeologist Johnny Isla of the Peruvian Ministry of Culture, the massive desert drawings remain one of archaeology's greatest mysteries. Over the decades, hundreds of theories have emerged, from astronomical calendars and ceremonial pathways to alien-influenced interpretations, but no one has definitively explained why these ancient people created such enormous figures or how they have endured for thousands of years in such harsh desert conditions. Thus, the Palpa discovery is far more than just the unveiling of a few new desert drawings. It is a vital key to unlocking the past, offering archaeologists new clues to further investigate the Paracas and Nazca civilizations, two essential pieces in the pre-Columbian history of Peru. These strange lines and deeply symbolic images stand as living proof of the timeless creativity of ancient humanity. They serve as a powerful reminder that even as our understanding of the world evolves, ancient civilizations still have much to teach us about wisdom, faith, and the enduring power to inspire across the boundaries of space and time. As you can see, the desert, a place often thought to be nothing more than scorching sand and harsh survival, actually hides countless mysteries that continue to intrigue and amaze the world. From the strange lighthouses of the Bedouin to the remnants of the vast ancient Mega-Chad Lake and even the mysterious metal monolith in Utah, each discovery feels like a puzzle piece in a much larger story. A story about Earth, about the history of evolution, and about the incredible adaptability of humankind. These seemingly forgotten traces are quietly revealing to us that the desert is not just a symbol of desolation, but also a living museum of the past, spanning thousands, even millions of years. What do you think about the wonders we've just uncovered? How many more secrets might still lie hidden beneath the sands, waiting to be discovered? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and if you're passionate about unexpected journeys of discovery like this, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any more mysteries. For now, goodbye and see you next time.